Dispatches from the Frat House. I have a What's Your Why Not for you today. I'm also writing these posts up, at least as of right now, so if you're one who'd rather watch a video, you've got a video, and if you'd rather read the post, then you can read the post as well. I ran across something, it was probably like 2 months ago now, that really, really struck me, and it has stuck with me ever since, so I wanted to share it with you guys. There is a podcast called Radiolab, and it's this great mixture of science and philosophy and technology and medicine and science and nature, and it's amazing. And the concepts that they explain are explained so that anybody can understand them. And sometimes they get really kind of deep, and I really, really enjoy listening to this. Like you guys know, I'm in the van a lot, so it's one of the things that I listen to when I'm driving a whole lot. So they had one, a portion, it was called The Black Box. The whole thing was called The Black Box, but they also released their podcast in these little shorts, so you can just listen to each segment. And the one segment, the last segment of The Black Box, is called The Goo and You, which I kind of love. And it's about how caterpillars turn into butterflies. And I realize, as far as What's Your Why Not goes, that is probably like the biggest overused metaphor for changing anything is, a caterpillar turns into a butterfly. But the way they presented it was really neat. So I will tell you about that. But to get to that, let me tell you about this. I was very kind of guilty for a very long time of having this outlook on things that you'd see people who had set these goals and achieved them. And, from afar, it looks effortless. And I had this mindset that those people were those people, these brilliant, golden, chosen ones who set goals and achieved them. And then there was me, or then there was the rest of us. And it wasn't until too long ago that I realized how incredibly flawed that kind of thinking is, and that that's an easy way to dismiss what your why nots are. If I can go, well, yeah, I could achieve my why nots if I had this, or if I had that, or if I didn't have to deal with this, or if I didn't have to deal with that. And that's crazy. That's so crazy. It's a very closed-minded way for me to think. So, you have all these things in your head maybe that are like, oh, I'm afraid, because that's what a lot of this comes from, you guys. A lot of this not finding your why not and not chasing your why not, at least for me, has come from fear. And I didn't realize that till just a couple of years ago, pretty recently. You feel like you don't deserve to get your why not. You feel like you're going to feel guilty because it's going to take time away from your family. You're worried about it taking time away from your job that you need for income. You're worried about being too old to start something new. You're worried about being too young and not being taken seriously. Whatever the case may be, we have all these fears. So when you look at these golden people who are just people like everybody else, you think they have something that you don't have. And that is not true. That's where the caterpillars and the butterflies come in. They've for a long time tried to figure out how on earth does a caterpillar turn into a butterfly. And many researchers have studied a caterpillar/butterfly while it's in the chrysalis. Once it gets to the chrysalis phase, they would open it up and look at it, and there's all this goo. That's where the title The Goo and You comes from. There are no seeable, identifiable structures that would say, oh, this is going to turn into a butterfly. They don't see any antennae. They don't see any body. They don't see any wings. They don't see it. It's just all this goo. And it wasn't too long ago, and I'm not going to try to pronounce the researcher's name because I will mispronounce it horribly, but they do say it in the podcast. And in the blog post, I do tell you what minute marker to go to, just to catch the very tail end part if that's all you want to listen to. It takes like 2 minutes if you cut to the end. The whole thing's maybe 14 minutes long, roughly. But a couple hundred years ago, this researcher cut into a chrysalis and actually found that right up inside of the chrysalis, right up against the walls of it, packed really, really tight, were these wings. They were in there. They're just really hard to find and really hard to see, to visualize. The antennae, the body, they were all really, really packed in there, right up in the edges. And if maybe you didn't know you were looking for, you wouldn't see them. And the lady who does the narrating for this portion of the podcast, she did the interviews for it. Her name is Molly. When she was looking inside this chrysalis and saw all this goo and then had this researcher explain, well, it's all in there. Everything that caterpillar needs to turn into a butterfly, it already has. It's in there. And she makes this comment. It's the very last statement of the podcast. She says, "What of my future self is already in me?" And that literally made me stop mid-breath. Like, what has it been for so long that I have felt I lack? Or what is it that those people have that I don't have? There's nothing. There's nothing that any of us is lacking that should stop us from chasing a why not. Everything you need to achieve a why not, you already have inside you. Because if you're watching this, or if you're reading the blog post, or both, whatever, if you're even the slightest bit curious about, well, what can I be doing? I want to change this. I enjoy that. I'm curious about this. If you have the tiniest spark of interest, then you already have what you need. Because there are no golden people, guys. And it took me 40 years to figure that out. You have what you need already. You need desire, you need drive, you need passion, you need curiosity. If you have the tiniest inkling of looking into any of this, then you do already have what you need. You just have to do it. You have to pursue it. You have to maybe make some changes in your schedule or in your finances or in your thinking, in your self-talk. But just like how that butterfly already has those wings crammed up in that chrysalis and they're just really hard to see, it can be really scary for us to do the work to find those things inside of us and to have the nerve to go, yeah, I can do that, and to not play that self-doubt soundtrack in your head over and over and over again. So that was just a little food for thought I thought I'd share with you guys. Everything you need to achieve your why nots, you already have inside you. So there's more coming, more about fear and more about forgiving yourself and more about motivation and some really specific things that I've found. They're not mine, stuff that I found online about finding your why not, finding your purpose, making plans to pursue those things, trying to hedge them into your everyday, already probably chaotic existence, and how to chip away at those things to figure them out and then to get them done. So you guys, thank you so much for watching. If you go visit whatsyourwhynot.com, I just started it up, so it's pretty bare yet, but there are, the post for this will be there, the intro post is there, the very first What's Your Why Not video is on the homepage, and there are forums as well. So pop into a forum and, you don't have to introduce yourself if you don't want to, but throw out there, here's my why not, here's what I do to stay inspired. Here's something I found that you guys might enjoy, that you might find inspiring. Anything like that, pop into those forums and please feel free to share. Okay, I will talk to you guys soon. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.